Hi, Emily. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, we're talking about taking authority over our thinking. It's vital that you take authority over your thoughts because the enemy is going to come in and he's going to take over if you don't. If you're thinking his thoughts, if you're responding to his thoughts, he's going to be in control. He's going to be in control. And that's why 2 Corinthians 10:5 tells us to take captive every thought and bring it in obedience to Christ, to the Anointed One. You want to be thinking what Jesus is thinking. You don't want to be thinking the enemy's thoughts. And so, first of all, you have to learn to recognize his thoughts. You have to learn to recognize what he's saying to you, recognize him as who he is, his mannerisms. You have to know. So as much as you need to know Jesus, which when you know Jesus, he said, my sheep know my voice and they won't follow the voice of the stranger. So once you know Jesus and you know his character, you know who he is, you're going to recognize so much easier the enemy when he's talking to you. So really the key is to know Jesus, to spend time with him and fellowship with him, and then know that the enemy is going to come and try to deceive you. He wants to control you. And so when you're taking captive your thoughts, when you have them categorized, enemy, me, Jesus, then when you're apprehensive and you're thinking it's him, then check it out. Make sure. And one thing about him that you should know is that he tries to get you to jump and do things like spontaneously. And the reason he wants you to do that is because he's trying to get you out of the will of God. His goal is to bring you to hell, to steal you from Jesus, to steal your eternity from you. And so recognizing that it's him, and then you want to block him. And he is going to come, and he doesn't quit. He's just pick. He doesn't quit. He's trying to control you. He's trying to trick you. He's trying to be the voice of God to you, comes dressed as an angel of light and tries to control you. And he can't if you're up on him. And so you have to always be looking at the word, talking to Jesus, taking time for him, knowing him, so that when the enemy comes with that opposed, he tries to give you like direction, with that opposed direction, then you know it's him. He's a liar. Because when Jesus speaks something to you and then the enemy comes, you're going to say, hey, wait a minute. No, Jesus said this. I'm not following your voice. Escape him. Block him. Don't let him control you, or he's going to take over your life and he's going to lead you down on that wide path that leads to destruction. And you don't want him to do that. You don't want to be under his authority. So if you're ignorant of the word, you will be under his authority. And so be careful. Don't be carefree, but know that you are in a spiritual battle, and he doesn't even want you to know. He doesn't want you to know that he even exists. He doesn't want you to know that it's him talking to you, making you think it's you talking to you. It's him. He's trying to deceive you. He's trying to be in control of you. He's trying to be your God. And if you don't do anything about it, or if you're unaware of it, he will be. And then you'll be standing before Jesus that day saying, Lord, Lord. And he's going to say, I didn't know you. You're the one who has to take charge. You're the one he gave power and authority to. He gave you authority over the enemy. And if you don't take authority over him, he's going to take authority over you. You have to stop him. And it starts in your thinking. And it also has to do with what you're letting in your heart. What is your day filled with? What are you taking into your heart is up to you. It's your decision. You have to decide that you're going to take that time to hear the word, to get it in your heart, so that that is what you're full of. And if you don't, he's going to just use your circumstances. He's going to use whatever is around you to fill your heart with that. And you're going to be bitter, and you're going to be angry, and you're not going to be happy. And that's how he wants you. He wants you to call yourself a Christian and then walk around as if you're sad and angry and portraying that sort of thing. That's what he wants you to do. He wants you to portray Jesus in a sad, angry, miserable way. When you're following after the enemy, you can't be following after Jesus. It has to be one or the other. And so, taking captive every thought. Don't let anything just come in and take over. Make sure it's God. Make sure you're speaking to the mountain. Make sure you're obeying Jesus. Make sure you're doing his principles. And just be insistent about it, because if you're not, it's not going to work for you. If you're not, you're putting Jesus aside instead of the enemy. God is jealous for you. You're his. And he wants you to walk in line with him. He wants you to follow after him. And so when you're taking captive your thoughts, you're thinking the word. You're looking at the word. You're saying the word. And if you don't spend enough time doing that, you won't be saying the word. And he will take over. And the doom and the gloom will set in. And then you walk around, some Christians walk around faking they're happy, and they're not, because they've let the enemy take over. He uses anything he can, your circumstances, anything, something somebody says. You get offended, and all of a sudden, you're feeling sorry for yourself, and you're walking down that wide path. Get back on the narrow path. You're in a war, and you have to realize that. And it starts in your thinking, and you're in control of what you're going to think. I'm going to think. I'm in control of what I'm going to think. I'm not going to think what he wants me to think. I choose to think as Jesus thinks. He's not going to tell me how to think. It's the attitude you have to have. Don't let him tell you how to think. Don't let him tell you who you are. Don't let him tell you what he wants to come to pass. Don't let him paint that picture in your mind of his evil. Don't let him do that. He's a liar. He's a liar. Don't let him do that. Stick to what you know is true. He tries to make things look so much more desirable. You know, he tries to make Jesus look like not as desirable. His word, you know, what I mean is when you're following that word, you know, and then he'll come in and say, oh, but you know, this would be so much better. All kinds of ways that he comes in, depending upon who you are, what you're attracted to, he's going to use it. He's going to use it to control you. His ultimate goal is to control you. He wants to be your God. Just like when he was in heaven, he wanted to be God. And God wouldn't have it. He wants to be your God. Don't have it. Don't let him. Take captive your thoughts. Take captive your thoughts. Hear enough word that you recognize him. Know Jesus well enough that you recognize when you're thinking, when he comes in to try to control your thinking. And the thing that you need to really, really know is that he tries to make it seem like it's you or it's God. He doesn't want you to think it's him. He doesn't want you to know it's him. And most people don't know that. You decide what you're going to think. Don't let him decide what you're going to think. Don't take the bait. Don't take what he's offering you. So let's acknowledge Jesus. Jesus, we thank you for this word today. We thank you for showing us the truth, showing us how to handle the enemy, reminding us of our authority that we have over him. And we thank you that you've given us that authority, and we love you. We praise you. We give you all the glory. In Jesus' name. Thanks so much for listening today. God bless you.